that every time you allow for those words to touch you or reach you, you are giving your remote control or your power away to this person. What you think of me and what you say to me is none of my business any longer. And you know what? When you disempower a toxic person, they go even more fierce. For some time, they'll get even more aggressive because they love the fact that they were in keychad and then they brought you back into their keychad. Somebody who lives on 2 on 10 frequency and you are on, let's say, a 5 on 10 frequency, their job every morning is to make sure you also are on 2 on 10 because then they feel equal and connected to you. And the more I tried to justify, the more misunderstood I got. And at one point I just took my power back because I said, you know what, I'm going to have to allow the world to have their own opinion. I need to stop using all of my energy in changing the world's opinion of me, rather go live that life where the opinion changes automatically. Ma'am, how to forgive our loved person who abuses and uses harsh words as a slang, which drains my whole energy and ruins my day, how to get used to it. So Neelam, I think one of the most important things to understand when you are with someone who is this toxic is that every time you allow for those words to touch you or reach you, you are giving your remote control or your power away to this person. Learning to take your power back is the easiest way to disempower this person, which means what? What you think of me and what you say to me is none of my business any longer. And for some time, you need to create a personality where you have to start to fall in love with yourself enough to be able to say, you know what you think of me doesn't matter to me any longer. And you know what, when you disempower a toxic person, they go even more fierce. For some time, they'll get even more aggressive because they love the fact that they were in keychad and then they brought you back into their keychad. They want to live in keychad, they are the master of that keychad, they want you to be there with them. Now somebody who lives on 2 on 10 frequency and you are on, let's say, a 5 on 10 frequency, their job every morning is to make sure you also are on 2 on 10 because then they feel equal and connected to you. They don't know how to make themselves 5, so they know how to pull you down to a 2. My suggestion, whatever they say thank you. You know, there was a period in my life where when my husband used to say, Puja, you're so childish, you're so greedy, there were words he was using on me that I knew it was not me, and earlier I used to get so upset and angry with him till a time came and I said, you know what, if he doesn't know me and he's not even bothering to find out who I am as a person, then maybe I need to stop trying to justify and explain to him who I am. Through my actions and words, someday he will see what I am. And you know what, today I know if Puneet had to go back in time, he'll take all of those words and put it in the dustbin because he knows for sure that that was not me. What I didn't do was sit and explain. You know what I did do? Became the person I was trying to show him that I am. But it took patience and it took time, it took a lot of effort. I don't know if I did it for him, but there was a part of me that wanted to prove to myself, you know, sometimes when we get labeled or all of those things are said to us, sometimes we actually start to believe it. You know, there was a period in my life where I used to keep telling Puneet to buy me a lot of jewelry. Now, I came from a house where jewelry was considered security of a woman. So my mother had a lot of jewelry and she encouraged me to make a lot of jewelry in the process because that was how security was considered. And the thought in the wife's head was always कि अगर कभी he needs it तो मैं बेच के उसकी मदद कर दूंगी. So in my head I'm thinking all of this jewelry I'm making that someday if you need it. So in my head I am doing a wise thing for him. In his head he's thinking, oh God, what a greedy woman. Every birthday she wants a piece of jewelry. Every anniversary she wants a piece of jewelry. And at some point he was like, this is disgusting, you know. And so I feel like there was that lack of communication. And the more I tried to justify, the more misunderstood I got. And at one point I just took my power back. You know, earlier on when somebody called me childish, it used to poke like an arrow in my heart. Okay, no, I'm not childish. I'm actually very wise. I'm just very funny. So the way I speak, I'm very bubbly. I'm very chirpy. I'm not childish. I'm childlike. But how to explain that, right? So what did I do? I went and chased the opposite. So I said, you know what? What is the opposite of childish? somebody who's insightful, somebody who's wise, somebody who's able to, give good advice. And I worked on that till a point came where I can't even remember the last time someone even referred to me with this word childish. Like at one point it used to be an arrow in my heart, and today it's not even something I connect to, because I said, you know what, I'm going to have to allow the world to have their own opinion. I need to stop using all of my energy in changing the world's opinion of me, rather go live that life where the opinion changes automatically. So coming back to you, Neelam, my suggestion would be start to build a kavach, okay, where what he says no longer should impact you. Come up with stories that you can say to yourself, hurt people, hurt people. If he knew better, he would have done better. Maybe his childhood, this is what he saw his parents doing. Or maybe, you know what, from the limited experiences, education, relationships that he has seen, this is the best he could become. Come up with some reasoning where the problem of him speaking like that becomes his problem, not your problem. Okay? And you start to go, poor thing, he knows no better. In your head, you don't have to say it to him, but in your head, you're starting to build this wall where what he says doesn't hurt you anymore, because you're not going to give it that kind of importance. And then you start to build you, and you go on a 700-day journey of proving to yourself the kind of person you are. And a lot of times, the labels that are put on us, chasing the opposite becomes our mission, and there's a lot of joy in that. I say a lot of times what happens is that there are basic, sometimes in our life, tragedies happen so that we can undo them, and that puts us on our right path. Maybe if I had gotten all of my education at the age of 18, 19, 20, today I wouldn't be the most educated person in the self-help industry in India. It was because it was taken away that I made it my mandate, right? Same way, sometimes in life, such people, I like to call them disguised angels. What if he was put in your life to create this mess so that at some point you can start to build yourself enough that his mess actually becomes your message, yeah? So see how you can make sense of all of this.